What a beautiful day here in South Florida that will quickly yield to a beautiful evening. And the Ford Ecoboost 300 that starts in the daylight will finish under the lights here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Cars getting ready to roll off the pit lane for the beginning of the parade and pace laps, and then the green flag for this one. A check of our Napa know-how for this one. It relates to the Napa-sponsored driver who also happens to be the champion of this series for 2014. Look at the numbers on Chase Elliott. 3 wins this year, an average finish of 7.8, and wrapped up the title the week before this season finale. Chase, our ESPN in-race reporter on the day, hoping to wind up his championship season in victory lane. He starts 14th.
Let's talk to him. Hey, champ, this is Dale Jarrett with ESPN. You have a copy?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, Chase, we're going to go to our mailbag. As you can imagine, we had lots of your fans write in having questions and offering their congratulations. But we chose Dylan from Carmel, Indiana. And he asked, since you've already won the championship, are you going to let loose, put the hammer down, and go for the win today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's our mindset tonight. Great to have things wrapped up last weekend. We're just excited. We want to enjoy this race here at Homestead. And like you said, just have fun. You know, we look at tonight like any Saturday night short track race. Your goal when you show up at those is to go and win, and that's our goal tonight. So we want to try to give it our best effort and end on a higher note.
Hey, Chase, you've had an outstanding rookie season and championship season, 26 top 10s in the 32 races so far, 3 wins, and a couple of them at some very, very difficult tracks that you had never been to before. Kind of give us your first impressions of this Homestead Speedway and what you expect here this evening.
One of the coolest tracks I've ever been to. Honestly, DJ, this is so cool. This place gives the driver a lot of options, and that's one thing that you like to have behind the wheel. So we're really excited tonight. Have some folks here from Napa. Huge thanks to them for making this year possible. Last race for Nationwide Insurance, and those guys have made this series a success, I think, at this level. Also, to everybody at ESPN for covering these races. It's been fun to watch in years past and even better to compete in. So we appreciate everything, guys.
Hey, well, thank you. You've given us a great season to finish up with here in the Nationwide Series. So good luck out there tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Chase Elliott, our ESPN in-race reporter and the 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. Our high-definition onboard cameras here at Homestead, riding with Ty Dillon, who has our Chevy on board. Trevor Baines got the Admiral Care camera. Regan Smith, the Nationwide Insurance on board. And the previously heard from Chase Elliott with the Napa on board. Brad Keselowski has the Ford Ecoboost camera. Kyle Larson, the Goodyear on board. Kyle Busch with the Toyota on board. And Chris Buescher has a Nationwide Insurance onboard camera. And as we get ready to go with the Ford Ecoboost 300, a quick reminder about NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy, where you can see those high-def onboard views, plus have all the live leaderboards in the chat rooms and more. NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy. Some stories from pit road before we get the green flag. Here's Vince Welch.
Well, Alan, as you know, Brad Keselowski doesn't have a chance at the Sprint Cup title tomorrow, but he does have an opportunity to be a part of a championship today. This 22 team is on the verge of clinching the owner's title here in the Nationwide Series. You know, normally when Keselowski gets in this 22 car, winning the race is the only thing on his mind. It's a little different priority today. Getting that championship taken care of first and foremost. A top 25 finish will give it to the 22 team today, and if a trip to victory lane along the way comes for Keselowski, well, that would be icing on the cake for he and this 22 team. Let's go to Dave Burns.
Vince, it'll take a lot for the 54 Joe Gibbs Racing team to overcome the 29-point deficit to that 22 car, but it's possible, and it would erase big disappointment from last year when they lost it by 1 point. Now, the duo of crew chief Adam Stevens and driver Kyle Busch, well, they won 19 times in 51 starts in the Nationwide Series, an astonishing 37%. They'd like nothing better than a surprise ending to today's activities. Dr. Jerry Punch?
Well, today is Elliott Sadler's last race with Joe Gibbs Racing. It has been a 2-year journey where he's had some great runs, but only 1 win, that coming earlier this year at Talladega. Now, yesterday in happy hour, Elliott and crew chief Chris Gale said the car was perfect, the best it has been all year. And this crew said, you know what? This is our last day together. And what better way to say goodbye than with a huge celebration in Victory Lane? That's what the plan is here today. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, it has been an up-and-down season for Kyle Larson and this 42 team. Of course, their highlights were 2 wins, especially the one at Charlotte. But this Turner Scott Motorsports team, as we know it, will be no longer after this weekend. Harry Scott, one of the owners, hopes to have one team at least next year in the Nationwide Series. Now, I talked to crew chief Scott Zipadelli. He told me this team, well, they're basically looking for jobs next week, and they can't imagine anything sweeter than ending up in victory lane tonight. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. So Brad Keselowski, who wasn't even scheduled to be in this race, starting on pole, trying to lock up a championship for Roger Penske in this 22.
All right, man, for the past couple months, we've adopted the theme of one more, whether that be one more win, one more pole, one more lap led, one more pit stop, or today, one more championship. I know you're going to do your part in there. We're going to do everything we can to help you out in here. Let's finish this thing off strong. It's been a lot of fun to work with you this year, bud. Great job.
Jeremy Bullins on the radio, the crew chief for this 22 car. So a mile-and-a-half track, 300 miles, makes 200 laps. The distance? And certainly a great field shaping up for what should be a fun fight for the win. Keselowski and Larson on the front row. Ty Dillon drops to the back of the field. And also Paul Menard, a substitute driver for Scott Lagasse Jr. in the field in the 30-30. And we're green at Homestead, Miami for the Nationwide Series finale. What we love about this racetrack, they'll use it all.
Such a fun place to race. When they reconfigured this track, the variable banking in the corners, just incredible the racing that we see. 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide.
So Keselowski leads. Larson is second. Sadler is third. Kenseth now fending off Ryan Blaney for fourth. Now Blaney going to get challenged there by Kyle Busch for fifth.
And Matt Kenseth, see a lot of sparks coming out of that car. He didn't get off to a very good start there. Ryan Blaney has pretty much been fastest most of the practice sessions, was fastest all the way to the final session of qualifying. Didn't quite get the lap he was looking for in that last part to get the pole.
Now look at Larson already sideways off turn 4, chasing it up to the top. Never lifts though.
No, chased it around into the wall a couple of times yesterday. They had to do a lot of repairing on the right side, but that hadn't stopped him from going up there again.
Well, he's figured out where it is now.
Elliott Sadler.
Still off of Kenseth.
Sadler looking for second, 11 on Larson, 42.
Watched Elliott Sadler in practice yesterday, and I know that he's talked about how excited he was, but his car looked really, really strong. It had, for the first time this year, it had speed at the beginning of a run, but didn't give up a whole lot, and that's something they've been fighting to get for Elliott all year long, so it'd be nice to see him have a good run here to finish up at Joe Gibbs Racing.
Larson with a little peek for the race lead. Just a little one.
It'll be tough to make these passes from the inside. It's not going to be impossible, especially as the tires get more worn and your car's a little bit better. But it's tough whenever you have somebody like Brad Keselowski up in that high line. Gets a nice run off the corner. Makes it tough to, you can get beside him, but clearing him is another thing.
And we talk so much about Kyle Larson and how he likes to get up on the high side, and he does it a lot. But he's not a one-trick pony. He'll go wherever he needs to. And I like the way that he searches around the racetrack on these tracks that give up so much grip. As the tracks, as the tires start giving up, he can just search around wherever it is, whether it's high or low. He knows now, I think he's going to have to make a pass on this 22 on the bottom. He's not going to let him have that high lane. A little wiggle, though, right there out of Keselowski.
Might be the run he needs. Larson by Skosh at the line to officially lead that lap.
Hey, that's pretty impressive to be able to do that from the bottom side.
And that's why you keep working that you're just looking for them to make that little bit of a mistake, especially with these nationwide cars where they don't have quite the power. If they have to lift just a little bit and you can stay in the throttle, then that gives you a huge advantage.
Matt Kenseth trying to work Elliott Sadler for a spot. The Joe Gibbs cars running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Sadler, Kenseth, and Kyle Busch.
You can see about 4 different lines right through there from the top 5.
And of course, the one big change that'll happen in this first hour or so of racing, sun's going to set. And track conditions will cool and change. And these teams did all their practice in the heat of the very warm Florida afternoon sunshine. They'll have to adjust as the night goes on. Auburn trying to bounce back from the loss at Texas A&M. Georgia trying to keep its hopes alive. Needs that win tonight. Could be an interesting game.
Yeah, a lot of scoring probably, and Georgia's running back, Mr. Gurley back, trying to help them out.
Here at Homestead Miami Speedway, Kyle Larson, the second leader of the race. Brad Keselowski, who was the early leader, now in a fight for second place, not with Elliott Sadler, more on that in a second, but with Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch.
Like as Kyle Busch takes that spot away, they're going to have to make an adjustment on Brad Kay's 22 car.
An adjustment was made on Elliott Sadler's 11 car a few laps ago during that commercial break. You'll note the paint job on the right side, not nearly as pretty as it was when the race started.
They just had taken the second spot away from Brad Keselowski in the 22. Tried to get back to the gas hard. Front tires just wouldn't quite stick enough, and you can see rubbed it pretty good there. That's not a hard hit. That's just a scrape.
Yeah, he might have been the first one that hit it, but he won't be the last one. Oh, Trevor Bayne looks like he's, going to touch it.
Just ahead of the champion, Chase Elliott.
Here, Chase really have to pedal the throttle right there. Not exactly sure
up outside, still there.
where that 6 may go. And you're kind of, it's not like you can just turn. You've got a track that doesn't have a lot of grip. You can't just turn away from that. So you kind of have to get out of the gas, a little bit of brake, and drive by it.
Yeah, you're basically in a controlled slide at that point.
So let's check in on the report from Elliott Sadler's car, and in his pit is Jamie.
Well, and he was, of course, worried about the right side, so his team taking a look at our cameras and the monitors to see if there's any tire rubbing going on, but they don't see any smoke, so they said, stay out, keep doing what you're doing, just take it easy. There's no pressure from behind. He's lost a few positions now, but overall, the car is good.
Fell from second back to fifth with that little scuff. Here's a change for second. Kyle Busch through Matt Kenseth. Of course, 54 team still hoping to find a way to get that Nationwide Series Owners Championship for Coach Joe Gibbs. But they're going to need a racing version of the Hail Mary to steal it away from the Penske 22 bunch tonight. 25th or better for the 22 to claim the title since they've led a lap already in this one.
Yeah, probably something they haven't done all years to finish back there, or very seldom.
We talked about how strong this 54 has been and the 22 all year. Right now, Kyle Busch is he's going at the leader pretty quick. He's catching him.
Look at all the tape down the inside of that window for the visibility before the sun sets. Update on Kyle Busch from Dave.
We see him moving forward, Alan, from sixth place starting position. And the crew told me when you tune to Homestead, it's a little bit different. You can't really count on your lap times. You have to rely more on driver feel because of how the track changes and how tires give up here. So Kyle's feel for the race car was really pretty good, even though they weren't fastest when compared on the timing chart. So Kyle moving forward now with a car that obviously feels good.
Look at the hands working the steering wheel.
Now you talk about how they're just sliding around here. This is the kind of racetrack that just they're not glued down to. You drive in that corner and kind of start aiming it.
Yeah, you can see here that this track, even though it's blackened up some, this tire just doesn't put down a ton of rubber on this asphalt. And I think it's more the asphalt because it's been something that's been prevalent every time that this place has been redone over the years. So it just makes it very, very difficult. A lot of fun for the drivers because you're in that controlled slide, or you hope it's controlled most of the time.
And you're doing it like 3 inches from the wall.
A couple of rookie drivers fighting for 10th place here. Chase Elliott in the 9 trying to pass Dylan Kwasniewski in the 31 for the spot. There's
rub
another
on the wall
stripe.
there.
3 inches or a little closer than that.
Uh-huh.
We don't need to be doing that at all.
I don't know how they keep from doing it as close as they run into that wall. I mean, all of it.
Yeah, so
I'm just thinking somehow Dylan knew that inside the car without being told.
So the next thing they'll tell him is you're a couple of tenths off, so you need to pick it up. Well, if I'm going to pick it up, I've got to go up there against the wall. Which do you want?
Ryan Blaney on board the second Penske entry in this one, as he has been in the last couple of weeks. That 12 car trying to close in on both Elliott Sadler in 11 and Brad Keselowski 22 for the 5th and 4th places. Ryan going to get a run in a limited number of races for the Wood Brothers next season on the NASCAR Sprint Cup side. And just as Chase Elliott became a NASCAR national star this year, Ryan Blaney also has become a star driver this year, both in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, where he competed for the championship, and in the limited number of races he's had in this nationwide series. Remember the great fight with Kyle Busch for the win at Bristol back in August, where Blaney came out on top. Keselowski slipping back to 6th place behind leader Kyle Larson, still early in the going in the Ford EcoBoost 300. Lights are coming on at Homestead Miami Speedway. Sun beginning to sink in the west, and the lead for Kyle Larson beginning to shrink as Kyle Busch is closing in on him for the #1 spot after 28 of the 200 laps in this one. There's the gap, 1st to 2nd. And for 4th place, Ryan Blaney working on Elliott Sadler. Trying to think back between Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson in a couple of the races we've seen them in where they have fought right down to the finish and been really close, right? Larson's win out at Auto Club back in March, and was the Michigan race was a year ago. That's 2013 where they came right down to it at the finish line between the two of them. And the Bristol race a year ago also.
Yeah, that was a great finish. That was almost a photo finish.
End of the season, of course, always a time for change. Elliott Sadler moving on from the 1-1 car for Joe Gibbs Racing in a Toyota to drive the 1 car in a Ford for Roush Fenway Racing at the 2015 campaign for this series. Right now, Elliott running in 4th place.
If he's loose, we're screwed, because the guys I see are loose are struggling. I think we're a 3rd place car right now. I mean, we can stand to be better in it to the center from where I stand. Exit, I think we look fine. As it gets a little darker, it's going to get a little freer. I don't want to get him loose.
Brett Griffin, the spotter on the roof, talking on the alternate channel to Chris Gale, the crew chief, and telling him what he sees.
Yeah, you don't want to get your driver loose here. I mean, you can't have the front end sliding, or you're not able to attack the corners there, obviously, either. But that loose side of it, hard to manage. And I can tell you from experience of working with Elliott for a lot of years, he likes a car. If he's got just a little bit of tug on that wheel, you're going to get a lot more out of Elliott. So what you're going to do with most of these drivers out here.
Yeah.
And
Jeff
so
Gordon's
got to have
talked
that
about
security.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. That's his style and what he likes to feel. So Sadler hanging on to 4th over Ryan Blaney. Kyle Larson continuing to hold an advantage over Kyle Busch, but it's a rapidly shrinking one. And Dylan Kwasniewski has just gotten into the wall again in that 31 car.
If you think it's flat, bring it to us. If you think it's flat, bring it to us.
And it looks like Kwasniewski is bringing that 31 to pit road while up front.
Flat, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
He was trying to bring the 31 to pit road.
Stay up.
And the car went all the way up the banking, probably on that flat right rear tire, and hit the wall in the middle of 3 and 4.
Yeah, and it's a couple of cars did a great job of missing, or drivers did a great job of missing, running into him there.
And he made a good decision. He was going to try to hang a left and get to pit road, and there were just too many cars coming.
Yeah, you can see that tire's down right there. He's doing a nice job of trying to hold on to it. Little contact, not too bad.
Then he went down the other end of the racetrack, slowed all the way to the apron. That tire went down, and look at this for Landon Castle.
I don't know how he missed him there. You can see Castle barely got into the wall trying to get on the brakes. When you get on the brakes on this, your tire's heated up. All it wants to do is go straight pretty much then. So great job by Landon Castle.
See those hands in the window of the 31 too? Wisniewski fighting for control of that car.
See that tire coming apart over there now.
That's not going to lead to anything good.
Actually, I think they might be able to get some tires
right
on this
side's
thing.
on it. About all the shots you got here.
Go back racing again. That could have been way worse.
So first yellow out as we hit the 50-mile mark in this one. And we'll see everybody on pit road here looking for some fresh skins. Got pit road closed here this lap by. Might have gotten out ahead of
Yeah, I don't know. That was close.
Yeah, we'll see what NASCAR has to say about it. Reminder, while we're under caution and the pit road is still closed, that you can check out NASCAR.com/RaceBuddy for all the enhanced race action today from here in South Florida. The live leaderboards, chat rooms, and high-definition onboard views and more. So we saw Brad Keselowski lead the opening 5 laps of this one and then fade back to now 7th position. Vince, you got more?
Well, the car's not handling very well, but the biggest concern for this 22 team is the fact that he's losing voltage. So he's been turning off everything that he can, has not switched to the second battery yet, but the crew just brought another battery from the garage. So certainly want to keep an eye on this developing story as the 22 team tries to make its way toward a second straight Owners Championship here in the Nationwide Series, Alan.
Yeah, it sounds like they have an alternator problem more than a battery problem. The battery is just a storage device for that, so if it's not charging, they'll have to end up replacing that at some point.
That could be an unexpected twist of plot in this one.
And highly unusual for this team.
Pit road open here. Dave is up first.
Second place, Kyle Busch reports, I need the fronts to bite better and I need more rear security, something to lean on. Hits his marks perfectly. He's a full load of Sunoco fuel. He'll get a chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustment. Jamie.
Elliott Sadler in the 11 said, keep the entry the same. I'm just a little tight off. Wedge in the right rear and 4 tires. Vince?
The 42 of Kyle Larson, just 2 loose. It's going to be a chassis adjustment, 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel. Same for Matt Kenseth, loose off and also been on the splitter a bit. So a chassis adjustment for Kenseth and Sunoco fuel and 4 tires. The race off pit road going to be won by the 54 of Kyle Busch.
So new leader, and Kyle Busch will become the 3rd different driver to pace this one. You see Sadler's team took a little time to fix up that right side rear fender work. And there's your lead change. Restart coming up. Tomorrow, a NASCAR Sprint Cup champion will be crowned. Will it be Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, or Ryan Newman? We find out in the Ford Ecoboost 400, the championship round in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. It runs here at Homestead Miami Speedway on Sunday. Our coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern time, the green flag a little after 3 Eastern, and a champion around 7 Eastern. Highest finisher of those 4 drivers within the race is the champion for 2014. Also going to crown some champions in the Auto Club NHRA Finals out in Pomona. Qualifying runs, see them late night tonight or early tomorrow, depending on your perspective, on ESPN2. And final eliminations tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Doubled up for the restart. Kyle Busch, the new leader. Brad Keselowski back in 8th place.
Thought I was the 12 car, didn't you? Spot my guts off for a little bit, and he didn't even know it. And you peeled off, and I'm like, oh, man. Where did you think I was going? I thought you were pulling into the discount tire pit box, because the discount tire car did. I had to look down and see what color shirt I was wearing.
Joey Meyer, the spotter for Brad Keselowski.
Wondered about Kyle Busch giving Kyle Larson that outside lane on the restart.
I was thinking the same thing. Figured I'd let it play out though and see how it worked out.
It may still work out.
Yeah. Whoa, big slide through the middle. Regan Smith in the 7. Everybody gets away with it. And Larson takes the lead. Okay, now you were saying?
Surprised that Kyle Busch would let him have that.
I think that was an experiment for later. I think he knows what he can do from the outside, and he wanted to see what that may do and what he may have to do later on as the track cools down.
Wow, look at this. Brad Keselowski. Brian Scott to his outside in the 2. Chase Elliott looking to his inside in the 9. They got all jammed up in 3 and 4. Now, we were reporting an electrical problem possibly on this 22 earlier. As Brendan Gaughan goes for a slide around in turn 2, but keeps it off the wall. Vince?
Yeah, I just spoke with the car chief, Corey Tucker, on this 22. He said actually it was the bead blowers. It's the bead blowers that aren't working properly, and when he has those on, it does suck the voltage, but when they turn them off, everything is fine. So they've turned them off for now. Don't anticipate any further issues, but certainly keeping a close eye on it.
Vince, that's still a sign of the alternator getting weak.
So for the rest of the race, I don't need to worry about switches and blowers. Is that correct? That's correct. Make sure they're off. 10-4.
Yeah, those tire bead blowers are pretty high amperage. They draw quite a bit. And if that's making that voltage drop down, it means the alternator is getting lazy. And if they can turn off the switches and keep it charging enough, they can make it to the end of the race. Without the blowers.
Yeah, and as a driver, you don't have very few, if any, tools, but that's one of the few that you do have inside the cockpit there to do something with.
Now, that 3 car for Ty Dillon started at the back of the field. He got into the wall in qualifying. And to fix it up, they had to go to the back of the field, and now he's charged his way all the way up into the top 10. That was a pass on Brian Scott for 9th place.
I guess it's after you kind of ding it up, the heck with it now, just drive it.
I noticed him in that first run of making some way forward, but they had a good pit stop and everything went well, and you can see they've got the handling pretty good, or to his liking right now anyway.
Ty, that huge win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the late July for his first NASCAR Nationwide Series win. Talked about being very proud of his and his team's accomplishments this year. They won a race. They contended for the championship right up to the end. And they're in a very good fight to try and see who's going to finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the final championship rundown.
And right now, Regan Smith's got a hold on that as he's running inside the top 10 in the 6th spot right now. But, you know, with Ty Dillon, probably very unfairly, as a lot of people get compared to either a brother or father or something in this series, you know, you expected what Austin did immediately out of that, and he's had a great season against a lot of very, very good competition.
33 Paul Menard, again a late substitution. Scott Lagasse Jr. was supposed to drive that car, and racing there with Josh Berry in the 5. Saw him at Iowa Speedway earlier, the late model driver for Dale Jr.'s team. And track champion at Hickory, North Carolina Speedway this year, getting his 2nd crack in the Nationwide Series here. Talked to Josh just before qualifying, and he talked about lessons being learned and what a different experience it is being on a big track like this, and how he just wanted to run all the laps and finish everything and come away with that knowledge in hopes that he would get more opportunities next season.
Yeah, Dale, I don't know, you were, your first big track race was at Charlotte. After running these tracks like Hickory, that had to be a big shot, one of those bigger racetracks.
Oh, it's very eye-opening, and just so much that's different about it. Everything that you knew about a short track, and obviously he knows a lot with that. But he's very talented. But he's got the right mentality here, that if he goes out, makes the laps, is competitive, then he's going to get more shots at driving in this Nationwide Series.
2nd place changing hands, Matt Kenseth around Kyle Busch to pick up that spot. As well as he's run a winless season in the Nationwide Series this year for Matt Kenseth in the 20.
Yeah, that's hard to believe that he hasn't won in this series, but They have had some good runs. Looks like they made a good adjustment that last caution. Take that second spot, maybe he can run down Larson.
And on the roster of changes, the man who's been crew chiefing that car, Kevin Kidd, is heading over to Roush Fenway Racing to be the team manager of their NASCAR Sprint Cup operation for next season. So after giving up the lead to Kyle Busch on the first and only set of pit stops in this one, Kyle Larson got back around the other Kyle on the restart. And he's out front searching for a third win this Nationwide Series season. About 45 miles north of where we are at the racetrack. It's Saturday Night Football on ABC at 8 Eastern Time. Number 3, Florida State trying to stay undefeated against their in-state rival, the Hurricanes.
You are going to drive the speed limit back to the hotel, right?
Yeah, I can remember more than a year or two where that Miami game was the undoing of Florida State's national championship hopes. And Miami been playing much better of late. It's going to be a great game tonight.
Yeah, 2 words, terrible for Florida State.
Don't
right,
go there.
Okay.
You did. I can't believe you did. Race for the lead. Race for second, rather. Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch trying to close in on Kyle Larson.
I'm really seeing something today so far with Kyle Busch, and maybe this is something that for their car to be better later on as the track cools down. But where we normally see this car be really, really strong after they put tires on at low air pressures, he's able to strike out and run some fast laps. That's not the case here. He's actually having to kind of work his way around the track, take what it is, and then after about 15 laps, it seems this car really comes in.
Yeah, I mean, we see him be good in long and late runs, but even then he's strong at the get-go. I haven't seen that tonight. And like I said, that might change. They might have this thing set up for some of these restarts late in the race when it's going to be a whole lot cooler.
So Kyle Busch there running in third position. Talked about Brad Keselowski earlier. Got the report from Vince down on pit road about the electrical current problems and the bead blowers and them having all the fans turned off. Well, in the fight for the Owners' Championship in this Nationwide Series, talked about how this 22 has a commanding lead coming in. The only thing they really can't afford to have happen is for something to go wrong that puts them in a wreck. And Andy, is there a danger to not having the bead blowers on the tire? You know, all right, so we're at Martinsville or something, you gotta have them or you're in a lot of trouble. What about here? And is there a danger to that for this team that would put them into really conservative mode?
I don't think that you're going to see any kind of failure like a bead that gets charcoal because the brakes overheated. What can happen is, without the bead blowers here, is it can make the car push a lot more, say without cooling those front tires a little bit, and that could cause a little extra tire wear. I'm not sure that I would be overly concerned about it. It's just one of those things you don't want to have to, in the back of your mind when you're trying to race for an owner's title.
Here we go, like you were talking about earlier about the longer run car as Kyle Busch runs around Matt Kenseth again.
Yeah, Matt can see Kyle coming, but it just seems like that be interesting to see as this goes on, like we were just talking about, that if this is going to play into his hand as this track cools down and things change later in this race. But as you said, we usually see him be really good on long runs, but he has that speed at the beginning.
Coach Gibbs seeking another championship in this series if they can find a way to overcome Roger Penske and the 22, and of course both of those gentlemen in the hunt tomorrow for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series championship as Trevor Bayne goes around Brad Keselowski to pick up 9th place.
Yeah, this is uncharacteristic of this 22 to be sliding that far back and really struggling that much. So these bead blowers may be hurting him, or they could be having some issues with that voltage.
And I wonder, I've seen him, he has not been up in the high line at all. And if that's just a position that, okay, if I don't have this tool, then I'm just going to be as conservative as I can here and try to win this championship, or till we can make some more adjustments, the track cools down even more, and then I get out of my car what I want.
Well, if he finishes any worse than first in this race, he's going to hurt his average finish.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a 1.8 average finish so far this year.
So giving up 2 spots there to Trevor Bayne and Regan Smith. Keselowski back now to 10th position after starting on pole. More on that story from Vince.
Well, right now the main concern for Brad Keselowski is the car's handling, and he says it is just too loose, about a 3 on that 5 scale right now for Brad Keselowski, why he's losing some of those spots. And he also says needs some help getting off the turns. He can't run the top, doesn't feel comfortable up there, and certainly, as you noted, Alan, with everything at stake, the last thing they want to do is get up there on the wall and have something bad happen.
Absolutely. So Brad Keselowski, the 2010 champion of this NASCAR Nationwide Series and the 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup champ, wrestling his car around Homestead Miami Speedway, trying to win Roger Penske another title. Back live, Homestead Miami Speedway, and a 100-mile mark of the Ford Ecoboost 300 season finale for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and a race for the lead shaping up. Leader Kyle Larson, 42, ran up on some lap traffic. It broke his momentum just enough for Kyle Busch to quickly erase the deficit that he had and catch up to take a shot at the #1 spot.
You can see he's really been utilizing that high line most of the time, but that was taken away from him here, and low contact there.
Ross Chastain, who got the free pass on the only caution we've had to get back on the lead lap, just lost that lap back to the race leader. And so there's the gap first to second now as we're 29 laps into this green flag run. 11 Elliott Sadler, 6 Trevor Bayne, 5th place. Bayne's been moving forward in this run of the race.
They apparently made a good adjustment on this 6 car, because every time we saw him in that first run, he was completely sideways. Going the right direction now.
Got that top lane run off the corners sorted out pretty well with the handling of his car. Of course, the only problem we've seen with that, as Regan Smith in the 7 passes Ty Dillon in the 3 for 8th place. The only problem with that is when you're running right up against the wall, it's very easy to wind up with the right side of that car all scuffed up.
Yeah, you know, we see that here, obviously, and just looking ahead to tomorrow's race, as those 4 drivers battle each other, they know that, yeah, the fast way around is right against that wall, but you're just the fractions away from ruining your chance at a championship. You have to decide, you know, how much of that you want to go after it, especially to the middle part of the race, and then see what you've got to do from that point.
Regan Smith, the championship runner-up, entering the day, hoping to lock up that #2 position. Of course, started this season with a huge win at Daytona to open the year back in February. Ryan Blaney running in 4th place, and an update on that car from Jamie.
Could be a little issue going on. He just radioed to the team, I have a vibration. They're keeping an eye on it. All the guys are on the wall. They're ready to pit him if he brings it down. Remember, Ryan has had a stellar record 3 times in this car. And there's your pass right there. Battle for the lead. So we'll keep our eye on the 12th, Alan.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Kyle Busch with a run on Larson, not able to complete the pass. He'll regroup and try again.
Yeah, he'll see if he can get a better run off the corner where he might be able to get far enough alongside to kind of put a slide job on. And back to that 12 car vibration, you know, these tires wear so much, we have a caution. But sometimes you can feel things a little bit more when they start doing that, or feel different things, and it creates a vibration.
Got a car stalled on the access road that you use to exit the pit lane inside turns 1 and 2. That is the 40 of Matt DiBenedetto, and you hear him with the engine fired. But
It's like
maybe those are the microphones that the cars coming past on the racetrack. So yellow flag #2 out in this race, just past 100 miles.
Yeah, they may have to keep that pit road closed initially here to get that car out of the way of the exiting cars. Like they'll be able to get him clear pretty quickly.
Yeah, whatever the problem is, Matt doesn't think it's fixable because he's taken the helmet off and got the window net down. So Kyle Busch does all that work under the long green flag run to give up the spots initially, then run down the leader, and when he gets there, here's the caution.
Yeah, it's happened twice to him, really, to be in that situation.
Free pass to Dylan Kwasniewski. Pit road is closed, as Andy predicted. Pit stops coming up. Back live, Homestead Miami Speedway under the second caution of the Ford Ecoboost 300 and pit road open for lead lap cars here. Last round of pit stops, Kyle Busch took the lead away from Kyle Larson. We'll see what happens this time.
Here's Chase, the champ. He said the front's okay, rear needs help, especially lateral grip under throttle. Going to drop the track bar one round. There it is right there. Going to have a half-pound air pressure at the left front. Dave.
Second place, Kyle Busch, lower left. Adjustments for a loose race car. Sunoco fuel, bag of ice for the driver for comfort. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney had that vibration. We'll find out here if it was a loose wheel. Says he gets too loose on the long run. Track bar down 2 rounds and 4. Vince?
Kyle Larson still too loose on exit. 4 tires, air pressure adjustment, and a half-turn of wedge in the left rear for the 42 of Larson, who pitted from first place but will leave pit road in second as Kyle Busch wins the race off.
Yeah, no contest there. Last time Kyle Busch chose the inside line for the restart. Larson went by him. We'll see which lane Kyle Busch chooses and how that short run, long run car fares if Adam Stevens has made an adjustment. And you see the 22 team continuing to fine-tune the Brad Keselowski car. Restart coming up. Sunset in South Florida in November. And the Homestead Miami Speedway, where the Ford Ecoboost 300 is under caution for the second time, with Kyle Busch now back in the race lead. Our ESPN in-race reporter Chase Elliott is running 6th.
Hey, Chase, Dale Jarrett, you good to talk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got about 76 laps under your belt on this place. What do you think now, and what are you battling with your car? It looks like it's pretty good as you've moved forward.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we're making small gains. Still a long ways to go here, so I'm giving it all I got, and we'll keep trying to adjust, and hopefully we can catch up to these guys and get ahead of them.
Hey, Chase, I know it's cooled down a little bit. Have you seen any more grip from the track to this point?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in 3 and 4. I think the grip level is just going to continue to increase. I think whatever problems you were fighting earlier, they'll probably stay the same, if not get a little worse maybe, just with that added grip and extra speed.
Okay, thanks for talking. Good luck.
And as we get the one to go and double up for the restart, let's check in on Brad Keselowski, who was on pit road for a long time under that yellow flag. Vince?
Well, the car's still way too loose for Brad in and off. So crew chief Jeremy Bullen said, we're going to take a big swing at it this time. Of course, they changed all 4 tires, wedge adjustment, track bar adjustment, air pressure adjustment, and also pulled a spring rubber as well. So that's why that stop took a little longer than usual. Jamie?
And Ryan Blaney, his teammate, came in. They just checked out everything. They looked at the car. They looked at the wheel weights, and it was a loose left rear tire was the issue for the 12.
Yeah, unfortunately, they caught it.
Yeah, that caution came out just in time for them.
Yeah, think about that 22. When you get into these end-of-the-season point races, isn't it always the case that the guy who needs the Hail Mary wins the race and the other one struggles to finish where they need to finish, right? As they run, Kyle Busch is the leader. Brad Keselowski's back in 17th. It is only a 10-point gap between the Penske and Gibbs teams, and in a race where they need to finish 25th or better.
Yeah, we haven't seen this 22 have this many problems in any race, I don't think, this year. I'm sure they'll get the ship righted here shortly, or the car going in the right direction.
There are a lot of ships around here.
Yeah, there are. But Kyle Busch chose the outside this time. We'll see how it works out. Okay, Kyle Busch has chosen the inside and the outside on his restarts, and he's been beaten both times. Now what?
Well, he just has to hope for it. There's no green, white checker.
Yeah, that's it. Needs the long run to the finish. So Larson back out in front. Look at this. Just kind of holding your breath with some of the young guys in the field and the way the cars have been so edgy on this racetrack this weekend. And Brad Keselowski really tried to put on a charge through some of that traffic in the 22.
Yeah, just made it 3 wide from the inside down into turn 3, but that disposed of 2 of them. You know, you get back, the biggest thing is racing around people that you're not accustomed to racing around, that not knowing their tendencies, so you're a little bit nervous in that situation. You want to get by there as quick as possible.
Restarted 17th, trying to take 12th away from Brian Scott, and got it.
Well, they've got it tightened up, it looks like, for the time being. Now, whether that's just tires and you can hold on, we'll have to see.
So Larson holds the lead. Ryan Blaney went to second. This for third place. Matt Kenseth on Kyle Busch. Pattern repeated for a third time.
We're definitely seeing a weak spot on this 54, and that's short runs right after the restart on good tires. He's got a good long run car, but not in the short run. That's usually his strong points too. Is you put fresh tires on and get him around these other cars on his restarts, and Kyle can do some amazing things, but today he's been vulnerable.
Yeah, a lot of times he's able to jump out there and get a lead and then kind of save his tires, and that's what helped make his car better on the long runs too.
Two drivers to watch in this one who appear to have cars that are being improved as the race goes on. The one we ride with here, Trevor Bayne, who started back in 13th position, and he's trying to take 4th from Kyle Busch. And the guy behind him, 9, Chase Elliott, the champion, although he might give up a spot here to Elliott Sadler. Chase started back in 14th place, and he did, in fact, give up that spot, so he runs in 7th now. Remember, Sadler was leading the race, or contending for the lead in the opening laps of this one when he scraped the wall with the right side of that 11 car, dropped back a little bit, and maybe they've got that sorted out.
Yeah, if he lost some downforce and side force on the right side, it looks like true. I don't know if they made any kind of adjustments as far as wedge or track bar go, but you can see the left rear pulled out quite a bit to get him a little help there.
Certainly a trend we've seen in both garages in these last couple of months, heavily.
As close as all these cars are running to the wall, if you pull the right side out, it's not going to stay out for so long.
And another one to keep an eye on, who's certainly got a good car today. Ty Dillon in the 3, right there with these cars. Started all the way at the back of the field.
Yeah, he had started to slip back a little bit in that run previously. See if they've made this car a little bit better. He's got plenty of speed at the beginning. See if they've helped him in a longer run situation too, and he can hang on to that spot. Doing a really good job here this afternoon.
You look around this group that's running up front, and figure that a few of those names are going to be contending for this championship in this same race a year from now. Certainly Elliott Sadler and Ty Dillon. Potentially Chase Elliott. We wait for firm word on what the plans are for the driver of that 9 car next year, but it's been said a couple of times the plan is to run the Nationwide Series again next year.
Ryan Blaney's got the wheels tightened up on this thing, and he's fast.
Watched him drive the truck race last night. That thing didn't handle a lot of times to his liking, but that wasn't slowing him down or holding him back in. He wheeled that thing around here, and I think he ended up finishing 5th in the race.
Neither was having the shifter handle in his right hand.
Yes.
Separated from the rest of the shifter.
Blaney's just done an outstanding job in this series all year long, whether he was driving this 12 car, the 22 car, the opportunities had there. Just a really smooth, fast race driver.
And for the lead. Got a run on Larson here. Larson powered up. Not done yet.
You kind of have to make a decision. Now, later in the race, that right there would be opportunity to slide up in front and make that other driver make a decision. Is he going to pull in behind you, or is he going to try to cross you over? Right now, that was probably the best thing to do at this point. We're not quite to halfway.
Of course, some of the racing we've seen this year, the decision would be pull up behind you, cross over, or go through you.
And late in the race, those are all options.
Well, look at them both, just chasing those cars.
Trouble, turn number 2. Got a car spinning. on the apron. Caution flag is out. John West Townley. It's a reasonable bet.
No, I just lost it.
He can't see very well where he's going at the moment. Third caution of the race, and there it goes.
Yeah, he was already sideways up against the wall. No, not a lot of room to catch it, but he actually does a pretty good job. Doesn't do much damage.
Some drivers right behind him that did a nice job of getting slowed down and avoiding that.
Last year, this race had 10 cautions in it. The first yellow did not wave until lap 48. We got the first yellow at lap 34 in this one, and now 34, 72, 89. Don't know if we'll get to 10, but they're coming in frequent intervals or regular intervals. How about that?
This is one of those times, Andy, that they kind of have to make a decision, don't they?
Yeah.
They have that extra set of tires. Not sure they've got enough laps to come put another set on.
Well, the way this race has been going, I don't think we're going to get to that number of cautions that Alan's talking about. So, you know, you almost have to pit. I was looking, as soon as the caution came out, I'm looking at the lap number. And, you know, just 14 laps that they have on this set, it would be, if you think it's going to have, you know, caution after caution, you might want to try to survive one of these runs without changing tires. But I don't see that. The race doesn't have that feel to me right now.
Now, let's see how it unfolds. The caution at lap 90, just shy of halfway. Brad Keselowski, trying to win an owner's championship for Roger Penske, has rallied from 17th to 10th in this run.
I don't think we can burn a set, can we? No, I just want to stay in fuel sequence with the guy we're racing. So if he stays out, we stay out. Copy. If he pits, I'll pit.
Yeah, that's the 22 team racing the 54 for the Owners' Championship. And that's good, smart strategy. That's how you manage a point lead.
And it could be just fuel that they might. Then these drivers will have their hands full. You get a full load of fuel on tires that have 14, 15 laps on them, then we'll see who's wanting to drive them sideways.
The yeehaw factor goes up significantly. Yes. Pit road open here for the lead lap cars. Free pass James Busher in the 99. 24th place car will come back onto the lead lap, and...
Okay, you see the leader stay out. This is going to be an opportunity for some of these other cars to now do a different strategy. See the 9 car of Chase Elliott.
Ty Dillon from 7th, first one in. Doc?
Chase Elliott's had really tight roll in the middle and really free, and the throttle got to come in. So a round and a half track bar, 1 out left rear, air pressure change, adding tape to the grill, and 4 tires. Dave.
Brian Scott's car was so bad, loose on the right rear especially, they needed to come make a big adjustment. Track bar wedge, 4 tires, Vince.
Well, in the 3 car of Ty Dillon, they've been fighting loose all night long, so they're going to make a chassis adjustment again to try to get this thing snugged up. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for Ty Dillon.
So a little strategy shuffle here. We'll see how it shuffles up the running order of the Ford Ecoboost 300.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
As the sun set over downtown Miami, quick reminder that tomorrow we're going to crown a champion in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series here in South Florida. The Ford Ecoboost 400 is on ESPN at 1 Eastern Time with NASCAR Countdown. 4 drivers. Highest finisher of Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman,
Joey Logano.
And Joey Logano wins the title. Why was I drawing a blank on that? That's tomorrow at 1 Eastern. And then they'll settle out the season championships in the Auto Club NHRA Finals out in Pomona. Qualifying runs late night tonight on ESPN2 and final eliminations Sunday night, 7:30, ESPN2. Down to Doc.
Well, the leaders stayed out, but Greg Ives opted to call in the new champion, Chase Elliott, and put their 3rd set of 5 sets of tires on, which means you're down to 2 sets. Why pit so early?
Well, we have 6 sets, so we got an additional set for tonight. But, you know, our goal right now is to win the race. And we're put ourselves in position all year long to be able to do this. And, I felt like we had a decent car, but I think it was just a top 5 car. And we want to go out there and try to win tonight and prove everybody that we are champions. So the Napa Auto Parts Chevy has been getting better all night. Gave me an opportunity to adjust on it, and Chase is going to go out there and wheel it.
All right, came here to win it, Alan.
All right, Doc, and just before Greg Ives took off his headset to talk with you, he was hearing this from his driver and having this exchange.
Rest of them guys have 3 now. Yeah, 10-4. Don't get to the end of this thing and not have any. Yeah, 10-4. I don't care if we have to stay out or whatever we got to do, but do not let this thing come to the end and us not be able to come down and put on 4.
Yeah, he's just talking about if the cautions don't fall in their favor, that they are willing to, and Chase sounds willing to stay out there and suffer through a run on older tires just to make sure that they don't get caught with none at the end. This could be a turning point for them if the cautions fall or don't fall the way they hope they will.
So there were 14 cars that did not pit here. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Trevor Bayne, Elliott Sadler, Brad Keselowski, Regan Smith, Landon Castle, Chris Buescher, Ryan Reed, J.J. Yaley, and those drivers did not pit. That'll give us 12. Somebody just stopped on this 1-to-go lap. Now, the first one off pit road is Brian Scott, and he's going to be lined up behind all of those in 13th position. Just took fuel only on his stop. Then you get to the guys who took tires, like Josh Berry and Paul Menard and Chase Elliott and Brendan Gaughan and Ty Dillon and so on. This could get interesting. So just about at halfway. Kyle Larson has done most of the leading in this one. And you see 24 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to go back racing with 105 laps to go. And let's see what this next run and this strategy does to shuffle up the running order of this one. Ryan Blaney to the race lead. Larson back to second. Kyle Busch third. And still the angry pack as the fresh tire guys try to charge up through.
Well, Chase Elliott is putting those new tires to good work right now. It's either 5 or 6 cars he's passed in about a lap and a half so far.
Trevor Bayne continuing to move forward in this 6 car on Kyle Busch here. That's for 3rd place. Remember the pattern on the 54 car. Takes him a little while to get going.
Yeah, but for Trevor Bayne, as ill as this car was that first run, they have really done a good job of getting it, really handling well. Putting himself right in the middle of this.
Steady progress forward.
We'll take our beat to them right now. The field will take the beat to them right now, and then we'll get it back when it counts. But
that's basically referencing these cars that did take tires that are probably going to be coming from behind.
You do Trevor working that throttle, trying to stay off the wall, but get it wound back up.
The thing is, with the cars that came and took tires, we see Kyle Busch dive to the bottom, try to take this spot back away from Trevor Bayne. But of the cars that really did, how many of them are fast enough to really drive their way all the way up past these other ones? You look at the 9 and possibly the 3 as cars that could get there, but just not sure how many are capable of getting up there. so you're not going to lose that many spots.
Yeah, may add the 33 of Paul Menard to that group, but yeah, I think those are about the only cars that are fast enough to be able to take advantage of it.
Okay, can I just say, watching this kind of racing, I love this racetrack.
Oh, I've always loved this racetrack.
Fantastic. And the drivers love it too. So as they're putting this show on, having a great time that we're getting to enjoy. It just they couldn't have done a better job whenever they made the changes to this track.
For 2003, added the progressive banking, 18 degrees in the low lane, 19 in the middle, 20 up top. From what had been a basically pancake flat, 1.5 mile oval.
Gets better with age.
And some fun racing to watch for sure. Ryan Blaney leads the Ford Ecoboost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Big game in the college football playoff picture. Happening tonight here on a beautiful night in South Florida. Here at Homestead Miami Speedway, Ryan Blaney's having a beautiful night out in front of the Ford Ecoboost 300 by 1 second over Kyle Larson, with Trevor Bayne, Matt Kenseth, and Kyle Busch rounding out the top 5. Chase Elliott, after the fresh tires on the pit stop, is leading the charge of that group. He's up to 6th position, followed by Elliott Sadler, Brad Keselowski, Ty Dillon, and Paul Menard. There are your top 10. We're just past halfway in this one. And we've had 3 cautions in 7 different drivers. 7 different lead changes. 5 drivers have traded the top spot. There's your champ wheeling that 9 car. Try to find a way to cap that championship run in the finest style possible.
Yeah, you always like to finish it off. And boy, he's had 3 great victories this year at 3 tough racetracks. And he's on another one here. I don't know that this coming in getting these tires has done exactly all they were hoping it would do.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. He started 15th and drove his way up to 6th, but he seems to be kind of stalled out there. So it's looking like that this may not have been as good a move as what I thought it would be anyway. I thought he might be able to just drive right by these guys.
How does this work out best for them? Does it work out best for them if the race goes like a full fuel run here?
Well, yeah, because what you don't want to see is a bunch of cautions that fall within that 30-lap mark, because if that happens, they're going to wind up a little short on their sets of tires. They only have 2 in the pits right now, where these other leaders that stayed out have 3.
Kyle Busch in the 54, running in 5th position. Interpretations on that from Dave Burns.
Oh, I'll leave the interpretations back to Andy. But remember when his car was loose, they made an adjustment for it, and they sent it the wrong way. In fact, the initial quote at the restart from Kyle was, this car won't turn in a, wait for it, 75 million acre field. I think he meant it was tight.
Yeah, that's a pretty big field, Dave. That's that's the problem with these tracks that don't have a lot of grip. Each problem is overemphasized to the driver. Like he thinks it's just really, really loose. You make a small adjustment. Now I'm really, really tight. So that's what makes it difficult to get a car just right on these tracks.
Left of the screen, 2nd place. Right of the screen, 5th place.
We'll see how these tires work out for the 9 car later in this run too. They were able to make some good spots, in the first couple laps with fresh tires. Stabilize kind of here in the middle. We'll see if it comes back around for them at the end of this. Hopefully, for them, will be a long run.
And you talked about as things have cooled down. A little surprising that it hasn't loosened up and freed up some. That number of the drivers and crew chiefs that I spoke with were anticipating this track freeing up some because the speeds were going to pick up, and they said that front grip is what takes over and makes the car rotate a little bit better.
Ty Dillon came off the pit lane with Chase Elliott on the fresh tires after the lap 91 stops. They're passing Elliott Sadler for 7th place. And Brad Keselowski continuing to hang on in that 22 and protecting the lead in the Owners' Championship for the Nationwide Series for Roger Penske. All right, Elliott wasn't ready to give that spot up just yet.
See the big difference it makes when you kind of get hung up beside a car trying to make that pass. Somebody behind you gets a huge run. A little frustrating.
Good racing tonight here in South Florida. Brian Blaney leading Kyle Larson for now. Caution flag out again here at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Ford Ecoboost 300. The recipient of some misfortune and a bump in the left rear quarter panel was Corey LaJoie in the 98 car. And you see the damage on that machine.
See going down into turn 1. Racing with Ross Chastain right there. See the 10 car get a little bit loose, have to correct it into the left rear quarter panel, and a hard lick for Corey LaJoie.
Oh, yeah, that was very hard.
In these four races that Corey's run at the end of this season, he certainly hasn't had much luck. Richard Petty saying today that they were working hard and very close to finding some funding to run Corey more in the Nationwide Series next year. Of course, this is the Diageo Denbest team's effort, but Corey, a Richard Petty Motorsports development driver, and the Kings saying that they were close to being able to run the son of the two-time Nationwide Series champ some more next season in this series. So that caution flag putting a question mark around the strategy of the people like Chase Elliott's team that pitted for the fresh tires on the yellow before. Only a 22-lap run under the green flag.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough decision for the cars that made that pit stop a little bit ago. I almost think they have to stay on sequence with them now, though, and maybe suffer through a later one.
What a later one gives you less time to get back to the front. It's the only issue you've got there. There was no hesitation on the 9's part, though.
Do they take tires or just top off the fuel?
They're going to put the tires that have 10 laps on them. They took off just on the previous stop, so that will give them 2 sets of stickers and go a half a round down on the track bar. Still just a tick free. Jamie.
Trevor Bayne is free in tight center. They make good adjustments tonight. Tape on the grill, 4 tires. Meanwhile, the 12 of Brian Blaney, he's led 23 laps. They're going to try wedge this time around and 4 tires. Vince?
Kyle Larson gave you 3 wheelies, really loose. So Scott Zipadelli is going to make a bigger adjustment, chassis adjustment, 4 tires. Also a chassis adjustment for Matt Kenseth. He's too tight right now, almost some contact with the 42 there as he exited pit road.
That was big.
It was close, but it was big for Trevor Bayne. He got the lead.
Watch this coming to the end of the pit lane. How did they not make those fenders? Wow. End result, new leader, Trevor Bayne, here at Homestead, Miami. Back live at the Ford Ecoboost 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Coming up on a restart. That'll be with 78 laps to go. Don't forget NASCAR.com has all your latest NASCAR information. Trevor Bayne, the new leader on the exchange of pit stops. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, the top 3 along with Matt Kenseth. Then an interesting happening here for Kyle Busch a moment ago.
I just lost my left side mirror. It is MIA, so I don't have anything over there. Tony. Super.
So that mirror frame that's attached to the roll bar apparently no longer contains any reflective material.
Yeah, you look in that lineup, you'll see Chase Elliott. He came in 4th, and he's back to 12th. They put that set of tires on. They had 10 laps on it, but the glue was still wet. Lost a few lug nuts, and it cost him some spot.
Do you think Kyle Larson's at least saying thank you as they continue to give him that inside lane to take the lead on these restarts?
It seems like he's so good on these restarts and cold tires, cold sticker tires. He's able to take the lead from either lane.
I think he's saying thank you for a great race car.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he's done that many times, yeah.
What was that? Shower of sparks from in front of somebody. I don't know if there was something on the track they hit or just bottomed out on the low air pressure for the fresh tires.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked a little bit weird the way the sparks are coming up.
So Kyle Larson now the leader. Trevor Bayne there fighting with Matt Kenseth for second place.
They're 4 wide down the front straightaway here.
Something's going to give back here. And the 9 cars right in the middle of all of it.
I was really interested to see how, I mean, very few times have I ever seen where tires that you put back on were very good for your car. You just don't know what to adjust for that type of situation.
Well, we heard him say, and Chase say, that we'll suffer through whatever we have to make sure that we aren't at a disadvantage at the end of the race and not have any tires. This is that time that he's talking about. You're just going to have to make the best of it.
Almost like the idea of staying out there, being up front, got that track position on the tires that were older. We saw a lot of those cars hang on really well with tires almost as much as what Chase had on that set. But it's easy to crew chief from up here.
Oh, debris turn number 2, caution flag out. For the 5th time in the race. Then something that shower of sparks we saw in that restart, that looked like more than just something hitting the track on low air pressure. That looked like there might have been something come off a car that somebody hit, and maybe this is the result of it. If a tire's been cut down because of whatever that is.
It's definitely, you can see it's some kind of a tire debris off of a car that has cut a tire down. I don't know if there's one out there with a flat right now or not. Yeah, that is one of those windshield tear-offs. It looks like it's shattered into pieces, making it look like sparks. I think that's what we saw earlier.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was a 4-lap run. And
I don't think they'll be
flag
staying out. Yep. I don't think they'll come in this time.
But your comment earlier about not sure if we get to that 10 caution flag number.
Bets are off now.
We're gaining on it.
Yeah.
No takers at the front of the pack, though Chase Elliott is coming back in. We'll follow up on that in a minute. Doubled up for a restart here at Homestead Miami Speedway in the Ford Ecoboost 300. A quick up to speed from Nationwide Insurance on the Nationwide Series champ. Doc?
Alan, the 10-lap tires that they put on Chase Elliott's car were just a handful. He said he was just trying to hang on, but they were free when they had them on before. That's why they took them off and put them back on. He said, I can barely hang on. He came in and put 4 fresh Goodyears on, but he will restart way back in 23rd, and they have 1 set of stickers left only. That's all.
Yeah, that strategy kind of went from bad to worse by having to come back in and use that set of tires up now.
They need a lot of this race to run under the green flag from here to the checkers, and that's not the trend we've been seeing.
No, but you can do things like that when you've already wrapped up the championship. Kyle Busch trying to make something happen where he can stay up, keep the leader inside here on the restart. His car hasn't been very good on the low air pressure type situations and on these restarts.
Up to second place.
That time the tires were built up a little bit. They weren't fresh tires, so he was able to get a little bit better go at it. I think his real weak point is when they're on sticker tires on restart.
Has been so far.
So Kyle to second, Trevor Bayne third, challenged there by Matt Kenseth. With Ryan Blaney, Ty Dillon, and Elliott Sadler in close proximity. talk about those heat cycles on tires and things. Doesn't look like the cooling down and then going back at it on this run has helped the 6-car Trevor Bayne much.
There's usually these type of situations when you've got a set of tires that's not exactly to your liking. That's when you have to leave them on the longest and have a couple of restarts. And you'd like to get those off of there and make an adjustment and go back at it. But obviously with having a certain number of sets, can always do that.
Ryan Blaney with a run to the outside of Bayne for 4th place. Jamie?
Well, the last set of tires for Trevor Bayne, the more cycles on him, the better he felt the car handled. He was hoping that would be the case this time, and it's not. He just cannot get up and go on the restarts. The car is plowing as he continues to get passed, this time by Elliott Sadler.
It makes a tight race car. It makes it a little tricky to get up there near the wall. You know, you're not exactly sure how much that front's going to stick for you, whether it's driving in and trying to get enough there, or as you try to power up and get on the exit of the corner.
Every time we go on board that 6-car, you hear him working that throttle and working it hard. Brad Keselowski, 22. Brendan Gaughan, 62. 9th and 10th places there. As Keselowski continues to try and rally from some extra time spent on the pit lane. A little bit back on this 22. And Brendan Gaughan continues a nice drive in this race, trying to cap off his season that's featured 2 wins already. Update on the 22 from Vince.
Well, Brad Keselowski has fought that race car throughout much of the night. Of course, it was too free earlier, bordering on bad loose. They finally took a big swing at it, got it tightened up. Brad says it is much better now. Still not perfect, but much better for the 22. Keselowski, by the way, has won this race each of the last 2 times he has run it. Last year and then in 2011. Didn't run here in 2012, but he's got a pretty good track record here, so they look to get it fixed up for him here in these final 60 laps.
All right, Vince, thanks. And you saw the change for 2nd place as Matt Kenseth got around Kyle Busch. The different things that have happened to various people. The loose wheel on this 12 car earlier. Kyle Busch talking about that the car won't get up and go early in the going. And the one constant throughout this race has been Kyle Larson leading laps. There is Larson, Kenseth, Blaney, and Busch.
Yeah, it's better, but I don't know why I'm so damn slow to take off for about 12 laps. I mean, there's not a chance in hell I'm ever going to keep up with those guys. Fight my to keep these guys behind me.
Trying to figure it out. Obviously, it's got him puzzled.
This is about the worst I've ever seen him on sticker tires in the race. But now he's even losing spots as they put laps on him.
I saw him working that steering wheel, too. So Kyle running in 4th position, while Kyle Larson continues to lead. He's run no lower than 3rd tonight, and he's led 100 of the 138 laps. At Homestead Miami Speedway, caution number 6 out in the Ford Ecoboost 300. John West Townley with his 2nd spin of the night.
The right rear's gone.
And I think it's pretty safe to say he's going to need some new right side tires on that thing before he continues.
Okay, let's go ahead and get tires on it.
It's a long slide. Try to keep it off the walls. Does a nice job of doing all of that again.
So after a brief smoke, John West Townley has continued on to pit road and looking for some attention on that 25 car. Pit road open, lead lap cars here, and they're coming in. Curious if Chase Elliott might stay out here. Answer on that would be negative.
Get fuel in that 9 car.
Yep. Dave?
Free in, tight landing, free off. He'll get wedge and track bar adjustments. Will Kyle Busch, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. Jamie?
Little too tight center, but Ryan Blaney overall happy. Tape on grill, air pressure adjustment in 4. Vince?
For Kyle Larson, the car is still 2-3, so it's going to be 4 tire change and an air pressure adjustment for Matt Kenseth. He says it's the best it's been all night. Just a little bit free still, so they're going to tighten it up just a tick. 4 tires and air pressure.
And a little track position change there for Kyle Larson. Had some trouble. Kenseth and Kyle Busch get by him on the pit lane. Chase Elliott, fuel only on the stop.
Back live at Homestead, Miami Speedway for the Ford Ecoboost 300, the final race of the 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series season. Pleasure to have you along for the ride with 54 to go. Hello from inside the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio. I'm Nicole along with Rusty and Brad. A bit surprised so far by this race. You know, when the race started, we expected it to be a battle for the Owners' Championship. Both Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski battling it out up front. That's not been the case. We've been pleasantly surprised and said today it's kind of been a battle of a few surprising names. Kyle Larson, one of them.
Yeah, Kyle Larson, one of them. I mean, Kyle is the high line king. He likes to run up top on a racetrack, and this particular racetrack really suits his style. So it doesn't surprise me a lot that Kyle Larson's up there. It's probably a good indication of how he's going to run tomorrow in the Cup race.
Yeah, Kyle's run really strong tonight. Ryan Blaney, another youngster, has run really well. But I think it's yet to be determined. That pay window is starting to open up with about 50 to go. I think the cream will rise to the top.
Gotta be Debbie Downer. What about Trevor Bayne? Trevor Bayne has also had a very solid night tonight.
Trevor's been really good behind the wheel. Struggled earlier, got in the wall a couple times, but he's been really, really strong, AB.
All right, let's see how Chase Elliott on the older tires fares on this restart with 53 laps to go.
Well, we heard him say he's going to have to suffer at some point with the decision they made back earlier that this could be that point.
Matt Kenseth to the race lead.
Now, what I'm seeing with Chase Elliott, the pain could be severe, too.
It's all the worst case scenario. They came in and put fuel in the car, too, so he's got a full load of fuel on worn tires, and everybody around him's got on fresh tires.
Like Kyle Busch, his car's a little more perky this restart on fresh tires.
We'll see if he's able to sustain that. We've seen him a couple of times be okay for 2 or 3 laps, and then he starts falling back, and then it takes about 15 laps for him to get things going in the right direction again. But I'm sure they made a pretty big adjustment for him here.
So Kenseth the new leader, Kyle Busch is second, Kyle Larson is third, Ryan Blaney fourth, Trevor Bayne fifth. Then as it sorts out, Regan Smith, Elliott Sadler, Chase Elliott back to 8th place, but got a lot of company there and losing spots by the moment. For third, Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson. Just sliding around in that 9 car. It's got to be a sick feeling. Elliott all the way back to 13th place now, Doc.
Guys, yesterday in happy hour, Greg Ives, whoa, he slides up the racetrack and hangs on. Yesterday in happy hour, Greg Ives put this young man on the racetrack with tires that were 51 laps old. He said, I want you to feel what this feels like. Because tomorrow you may be out there with old tires and everyone else has fresh tires. I want you to see how you have to drive it, how you have to change your lane, how you have to hang on. That might be what we do. I want to prepare you for what could happen tomorrow. Well, guess what? He's prepared, but boy, does he have his hands full right now.
I guess. Let me just catch you up on a little housekeeping while we watch Elliott slide back through the field. Ty Dillon had made an unscheduled green flag pit stop with a flat tire just before that last caution while we were in a commercial break. Took the wave around on this yellow flag to get back on the lead lap. Eric McClure also took a wave around. The free pass car was the 36 of Ryan Priest, and he's back on the lead lap, and so that gives us now 27 cars on the same circuit with race leader Matt Kenseth.
And with that many cars still on the lead lap, it kind of keeps that owner's championship there until the very end, just in case the 22 would have a flat tire late or something like that. And the 54 were able to get to the front.
Brad Keselowski just joining us, started on pole, but led only the first 5 laps of this one, has struggled with a couple of ailments on this car, had an electrical problem on it where it appears the alternator might not be up to snuff and they're getting all the voltage they need, so he's running without any of the brake blowers. Got a spinner in turn 2, and caution out. Ryan Sieg.
Okay, flaps.
Yellow flag number 7.
We might get to that 10, Alan.
I think I'm going with the over.
Yeah. I didn't think we'd get there.
Sieg, the young driver from Georgia, with that fabulous finish at Daytona. Got himself involved in the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash bonus money program earlier.
Really had a number of good runs this year.
Yeah.
Just a little out of control right there, and we've seen a lot of that. And another thing that happens as this racetrack goes down, you talk about the grip that you get, obviously the speeds pick up a little bit. So then you have to kind of adjust your driving to that also if you haven't adjusted your car enough to it.
So field slows again under the yellow flag, and Chase Elliott from leading this race on the restart all the way back in 15th place. And kind of in a little bit of a box here as far as his hopes of winning this one might be concerned. 46 laps to go. Do not expect much action on pit road here, as they only ran 7 laps on that set of green flag conditions. 46 to go in the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. Doubled up with a restart here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Would be 43 laps to go in the Ford EcoBoost 300, and Matt Kenseth now the race leader, the white car in the outside lane. Brian Blaney looking 3 wide low in the 12. Elliott Sadler with a duck to the inside.
And Kyle Busch trying to take the lead. He didn't get a very good start initially, but once he got it in high gear, I don't think he's let off yet.
A lot going on in that pack. Little desperation starting to set in for positions on these restarts.
Yeah, laps are winding down. Season's finishing up here. Drivers trying to get everything they can.
Brad Keselowski running 8th, trying to lock up the Nationwide Series Owners Championship for Roger Penske. Regan Smith 7th, trying to lock up 2nd in the final championship. They're racing Trevor Bayne for a spot. Oh, Brendan Gaughan, a little scuff in the wall in the 62. Keeps it straight. And Paul Menard in that 33. The only one of these cars to stop and pit for fresh tires on this caution. Dave reports up from pit road that he is now out of fresh tires, and he's got what he's got to the finish.
Yeah, his gamble is this thing is going to go green to the finish. He'll be able to pass a lot of cars.
16 Ryan Reed, 60 Chris Buescher there. They were racing for 11th and 12th as Blaney and Larson fight for 3rd.
See, this set of tires or either things cooling down hasn't been the best scenario for this 42. He dominated the first half of this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the track conditions aren't changing and not favoring his car, or whether it is the adjustments of this set of tires, but he's not as strong as he was.
Larson led 106 of the 162 laps that have been run in this one so far. Now back in 4th place, and that is as low as he's run about all night in this one. There is the dominance of Kyle Larson in this one tonight.
Yeah, the one that's really hard to believe is Kyle Busch hadn't led but 5 laps tonight. Well, and Keselowski, both of those. Neither one of those cars have been very strong.
Yeah, Ned led almost 70% of the last 5 races between, or the 2 cars, the 22 and the 54.
It's what we thought we'd see tonight.
Yeah.
Regan Smith moving up, holding off Trevor Bayne for that 6th position. And Brad Keselowski trying to follow through around the 6. While this is all going on, Matt Kenseth has checked out. Look at the gap. Kenseth to Kyle Busch. 1.8 seconds already.
Yeah, certainly something we haven't seen from this 20 car all year. Matt's been in this car quite a few times. About tonight there, Vince, the 20 strolling.
Really worked on this car throughout the course of the night because it wasn't all that good at the start, but Kevin Kidd has kept tinkering on it and twisting on it, and Matt on the last restart said this is the best it's been all night. And that track position being out front, that clean air hasn't hurt it any either. So these guys have hit on it just at the right time with 35 to go.
Well, Matt Kenseth is long overdue for a win. He hasn't had one in either series. I bet you he'd love to win tonight.
Last win in the NASCAR Nationwide Series for Matt was a year ago at Kansas, 2013 October that would be. A 2-time winner in the Nationwide Series a year ago, a 7-time winner in the Sprint Cup Series a year ago, and still on the schneid this year in both series. Certainly would be one to watch tomorrow in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race as well. A solid qualifying run for Matt. He'll start in 3rd position for Sunday's season finale. 33 to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway.
I got my money, and I can't let go. I'm killing it.
Tomorrow, the last day of the NASCAR racing season, and 4 drivers go heads up within the field of 43 to determine who'll be this year's NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Ryan Newman after his last corner desperation at Phoenix. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. Who wins it? The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. Decided tomorrow in the Ford Ecoboost 400 from here in South Florida. ESPN, 1 Eastern Time for NASCAR Countdown, in which all 4 drivers will visit us live in the Quicken Loans ESPN pit studio. Also tomorrow, the Auto Club NHRA Finals from Pomona. You'll see qualifying runs late night tonight, early tomorrow morning, and final eliminations on Sunday at 7:30 on ESPN2. Yellow flag number 8 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series finale. Trevor Bayne with some troubles on the 6 car.
So he knew he had this right rear tire going down as he entered the corner, trying to save it.
Was running in 7th place at the time. Pit road open here. Dave?
Kyle Busch will take 4. He said the car will not turn. Adam Stevens, the crew chief, did not hesitate. Wants some fresh rubber. Track bar adjustment to help that race car's handling. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney saying a little bit tighter this run. Actually, a lot tighter. Wedge adjustment, a little tape on the grill, and 4 tires fill them up with Sunoco fuel, Vince.
Kyle Larson says he needs to be freed up a little bit. It's going to be 4 tires and an air pressure change. It's for the 20th of Matt Kenseth. He said the car's really good, especially for 25 laps. That's about what we're going to have. 4 tires, no changes. Kenseth, first one off.
And look at the work by Regan Smith's team.
Good time for a fast stop.
Now, those positions that you're seeing the race-offs here are for 2nd place. Because as talked about earlier, Paul Menard's team did not call the 33 onto pit road, and he's going to be the new leader of this race when we go back at it inside the final 30 laps at Homestead Miami Speedway. Settling out the season in South Florida, Miami-Dade County, for the conclusion of 2014, and then in just a few months, about a 3 to 4 hour drive north of here. I'll say 4 because it's an hour to get to my house and then 3 hours to Daytona.
It's about 3.5. I drove it.
They'll open the season with the 2015 Daytona 500 at the Daytona International Speedway, where that massive renovation is undergoing. And join us at Speed Weeks 2015. Daytona500.com or 1-800-PIT-SHOP. Paul Menard is now the leader, Dave.
Nick Harrison made the call to take the tires earlier and then stay out now. How's this going to work out for you?
You know, it's probably not going to work out great for us. We were hoping that it would go green to the end. Just a gamble we took. We weren't a top 5 car, hoping that would work out and get us to top 5. But I'd like to thank the Florida DOT and Boy Scouts of America coming on. Scott Lagacy was planned to drive, and he got sick, so Paul's did a great job filling in. Hopefully we get some quick cautions here and don't get burnt too bad, but just got off cycle hoping something good would happen.
He picked up 18 spots on that run, guys.
Unfortunately, he's probably going to lose most of those back right now. So ready to settle it in the Ford Ecoboost 300, final race of the season for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Dakota Armstrong free passed 29 cars on the lead lap in a race that's seen rather frequent and regular cautions, and with the intensity of the late race laps, wouldn't be surprised to see some more yellows coming quickly.
Kyle Busch is caught in the wrong spot there behind Paul Menard on that restart. Cost him at least 4 spots, it looks like.
Matt Kenseth back to the lead. Kyle Larson the second. Regan Smith to third.
See Chris Buescher up there in the mix. Sorry, Alan.
Sorry, DJ. Elliott Sadler to fourth. Kyle Busch back to fifth and being challenged by Buescher there. One of the many bright young racing talents that introduced themselves on the NASCAR National stage this season with a trip to victory lane.
He's really done a nice job all year long in driving this car. Been fast a lot of places that we've gone, put himself in position to win a number of times.
And won at Mid-Ohio in August. Much as that 54 car's had trouble getting going in the short run on restarts tonight, I'm not sure he wants to see another yellow flag to catch back up to Kenseth and have a shot at him, or just take his chances on the green flag run.
Yeah, I think that restart really cost him from keeping in touch with Kenseth there enough to make this. He was coming on before that last caution. He was actually running Kenseth down, but I believe this is going to work against him here.
That bright yellow car, Brad Keselowski doing what he needs to do for Roger Penske to win the Owners' Championship in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Kyle Busch running in 5th, Keselowski running in 8th, and a comfortable lead at this point with 21 laps to go, but still, this many cars on the lead lap. It's far from over. He's got to run it out trouble-free the rest of the way to get the captain his second title of 2014.
Well, Trevor Bayne come off turn 2. I don't know if he got a piece of the wall or not, but he was awfully close if he didn't.
Change for 4th place there for the moment. If Kyle Busch can slide up and seal off Elliott Sadler there, which he does.
Trevor Bayne is in the wall now.
Clear by 10.
So far, we stay under green. A good night gone bad for Trevor Bayne in the late laps. Kyle Busch on Regan Smith now for 3rd place. Six cars there under a blanket for 3rd spot. Telling you what, how about this late laps rally for Chris Buescher and his team?
I tell you, he's willing this thing right now. I see him at the top, down on the bottom, trying to make passes wherever he can go that they're not.
Said it a couple times this season, but Roush Fenway Racing's dedication to developing young drivers, crew chiefs, and crew members through this series. And certainly, they found a good one in Chris Buescher.
Yeah, they sure have. And as this program continues to get better in the Nationwide Series 4, this driver's only going to get better.
So Buescher up to 4th place ahead of Regan Smith, who slides back to 5th. Up front, Matt Kenseth has established a 1-second lead on Kyle Larson. It's another 0.7 of a second back to Kyle Busch and that whole pack from 3rd on back.
It's a great race they've got going on here.
He gets just a whale of a run off of turn 2. It looks like his only weak spot is getting into turn 1. He has to back off a little bit early, and that's where Regan Smith's been taking advantage of it.
Chris Buescher may be another one of those. We talked about drivers that could battle for the championship next year. Chris Buescher may be another one of those drivers that could put in that mix.
Well, Dylan Kwasniewski with some more damage on that 31 car has been into the wall a couple times in this race.
Caution's out, debris.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's parts look like they were coming off of that car.
So yellow flag number 9. 15 laps to go. And that damage on the 31 car, not all from him having contact with the wall. He's had contact with another car. I'm guessing Mr. Menard took exception to the prior encounter with Mr. Kwasniewski.
And maybe taking a little frustration for Paul Menard, having to be out there on older tires and all these cars passing him.
Comes the debris, yes.
Right under Trevor Bayne's car. When you talk about wings on a race car, things flapping on the side of it is generally not what you're referencing.
Okay, they don't have any more tires, so we're kind of all set with that. But we're going to have a restart here that's going to be pretty important.
And what it's done is erase that second plus lead that Matt Kenseth had on Kyle Larson. and put Kyle Busch back in that position of needing to get going quicker than his car's been capable of all night.
Yeah, I think this is the best situation for Kyle Busch, though. His car seems to go pretty good on restarts after they've run some laps on the tires, so this might be an opportunity for him.
And don't count Chris Buescher. He wasn't lifting for anything or anybody there a while ago, so no telling what we may see out of him in these last 10, 12 laps.
That was the 9th caution. Are we going to have another one?
Yes. Find out if we're right in a minute. Doubled up for a restart to settle the Ford Ecoboost 300 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Just 11 laps remaining in the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. And will we have a lead change here when the pace car pulls off?
Good chance.
History says we're about 5 laps away from seeing the final lead change of this one. We'll see.
Good, that'll be fun.
Matt Kenseth, the control car for the restart, 20 on the outside. Kyle Larson to his inside. Row 2, Kyle Busch. Chris Buescher inside outside. Regan Smith, Ryan Blaney. Chase Elliott has rallied all the way back up into the top 7 after a tough stretch of this one when he got hung out on an off-tire strategy earlier. 11 laps to go.
Oh, here we are.
4 wide for second.
4 wide.
That move by Ryan Blaney to
3
the
wide
top.
now. 3 wide. Still 3.
Well, Matt Kenseth's got to be loving this.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Larson gassed it up in the middle of 3 and 4, cleared the traffic to get second. There's double wide for third. That's a lot going on right there. Keselowski trying to run up through in the late laps. Racing Kyle Busch there. That's for 5th place. While you watch this, Landon Castle coasts without power back to the garage. Tough end to his season in the late laps of this one. Well, he wasn't the best car early, but once Matt Kenseth got to the lead for the first time in this one, he has been strong. Took the lead for the first time 3/4 of the way through the race. At lap, whoop, Chase Elliott into the wall. Again.
Side, stay. Clear, 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 clear. Couple more.
He's just hanging on now.
Be all the championship photos done from the left side of that thing now.
I was thinking he's just going to tear the fenders off at doing burnouts in a minute anyway. But he's got a flat tire. I'm pretty sure he's way off the pace in the middle of 1 and 2.
Couple more. Just stay up there, man. Stay up there.
Caution for debris from the 9 car.
Okay, there it is. I didn't think we'd make 10 cautions, Alan, but we did.
See, that right rear is definitely flat.
Flat right rear, man.
More than likely what put him in the wall to start with. We've seen that happen a number of times.
out, guys. How you look, Travis? Okay, set it down. Gotta go.
Well, he's not going to end the night holding the race winner's trophy, but he is going to hold the big trophy in just a little bit.
Yeah, they had a lot of problems tonight. They picked probably the best night to have.
To get all I could get.
A lot of issues after having wrapped up the championship before they started.
Yeah, you heard him say, I was just trying to get all I could get.
Can't blame him for that.
Well, he's done a good job of getting all of it all year long.
That's for sure. So the championship presentation to Chase Elliott coming up after the conclusion of the race, but we've got to settle out who's going to win the race. Got 5 laps to go as we continue under the caution flag. So we're going to be down to about a 3 or 2 lap sprint to the checkers in this one. And Matt Kenseth is going to have to get it done again on a restart, which he's shown the ability to do through these last few, to have a shot at it.
Yeah, and it's with these restarts now, with these tires, having laps on them, worn, heated up, the control driver there is really in control because the others are just having to try to anticipate, and as you try to go to the gas harder, we've seen a lot of times that second place car spinning their tires, and so Matt's using that to his advantage on these restarts.
Yeah, but he can't let his guard down. He's got to make sure his tires are cleaned off. If he spins the tires just a little bit, he's got a lot of hungry guys ready to pounce on him.
Watching all the action that we've had tonight, and thinking ahead to tomorrow night's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season finale, thinking about the late caution with all that's at stake. Picture 4 guys within this field now getting doubled up for a restart with a couple laps to go, with the highest finisher among those 4 winning the championship tomorrow night, and what we might see.
My gosh, they're already under the most pressure they've ever been in their life in this scenario. For the first time, we've got 4 drivers racing for this championship. It's just, no points involved, no nothing. It's just go beat the other 3, and you get a late race situation. It's going to be amazing to watch them perform.
So doubled up for this restart. That is going to come with 3 laps to go in the race. Jake Crum got the free pass onto the lead lap. We have 29 cars on the lead lap. And a lot of folks wanting to find a way to wrestle that trophy away from Matt Kenseth. Kyle Larson had some trouble getting going on that last restart. He'll be on the inside lane again.
You better be ready to be in the gas and get it going this time, because I know Ryan Blaney's going to be ready. Chris Buescher could be sitting in a good seat right here if he can get himself a good restart there. We know Matt Kenseth's going to jump out there. If Buescher can be in the gas and not spin the tires, he could find himself there but being the one to battle Kenseth.
A look at the front runners and how they'll restart. And they've just added another lap. Piece of debris has fallen off a car in turn 1, so now it's going to be down to 2 laps to go in the race before it gets restarted.
This should make it an official green-white checker attempt. It should. I don't know if it does or not.
It's not considered the first attempt at a green-white checker because it's the scheduled distance of the race. There will be 2 laps to go in the scheduled distance. The race isn't under caution at the end of its scheduled distance. If we get another yellow flag before the white flag comes out, now you're on to something.
We'll see. Hopefully we won't have to have that many.
I'm telling you.
That it should be a factor.
Chase Elliott has to start all the way at the back of the line, including all the lap cars, because he pitted before the pit road was open. And there he is. His night's about to go from to really good in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you hold that trophy. There's nothing like that feeling that you get there, having all your team there to celebrate with you.
His dad was so great on NASCAR Countdown, hearing Bill talk about Chase and their experiences racing together and what it's meant to him to watch how this is all unfolded.
Yeah, what a thrill that was. I had the opportunity last week at Phoenix to go down and see Bill and Cindy and just talk to them about what a fine young man they have and great champion for this sport. Nationwide should be very proud to have him as a champion.
All right, let's go up front, see who's going to win this thing. 2 laps to go. Kenseth to your left, Larson to your right as they come at you. Larson with a much better restart. Kenseth trying to get down on the door to slow him up with the air.
And he did just that, too. Ryan Blaney be looking for somewhere to go. Telling you, watch this 12 car.
Oh, trouble behind them. Josh Berry, turn around. He catches Brendan Gaughan. And the yellow flag is out.
Any tires are earning.
So trouble coming to the white flag in that
Yeah, tire
intense
coming
racing
apart here. Just be careful with the fenders.
behind the leaders, while Kyle Larson took the lead away from Matt Kenseth. The yellow came out before the leader got the white flag, and so now we're going to have some extra racing.
Boy, I see that's
barely
close.
Yeah, I was talking to Ryan Preece, one of the other young drivers in the field, like Josh Berry, coming from a short track background, and he said the hardest thing about learning this 1.5-mile track racing was the air and what it does to your car, and Josh Berry might have just gotten a lesson on that right there.
Yeah, I'd seen him a couple of other times get himself in positions that I thought were going to be a spin maybe, but he was able to hold on to them. Look right here. You can see the lights come on just before he can get the flag out, but it does happen. A nice job there of redirecting which flag he was going to throw.
So yellow flag number 11. Pit road open here for any takers.
Yeah, I think Kyle Larson was hoping it was the white flag he was going to throw. And Matt Kenseth was hoping it was the yellow one. So we'll see another restart.
What a restart by Larson,
wasn't it?
Man,
he was ready to go, wasn't he?
That was good stuff.
And all the games with the air and where to get down on the guy's quarter panel and fender and so on. You saw Kenseth try to get back to Larson on the backstretch. And then
he avoided him, kind of went all the way down.
Well, but the both of them were so low that it got to a point where, hey, we got to get an angle into this corner.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I was watching and telling you, Ryan Blaney was sitting in a really good spot there, I thought, maybe to come up there and use the draft to get to him.
All right, while we wait out the cleanup and get ready for the first attempt at a green-white checker finish, we check with Vince.
And I'm with Kevin Kidd, the crew chief for Matt Kenseth. It looked like it was going to be an easy one for you there at the end. They never let it be easy, do they? What's going through your mind now as you guys try to wrap up this season with a win here tonight?
It's been exciting to watch. We got one of the best in the business doing this restart here. We just didn't quite get the jump on the last one. I have full faith that he's going to give it his all right here, and hopefully he can bring it home to us.
It's been a long time since you've been to Victory Lane, about 4 years. This is your last race with Joe Gibbs Racing. What would it mean to finish it off with a victory tonight?
Go out on top. That's the way to do it, right?
It is indeed. Alan?
Won't meet a nicer guy than Kevin Kidd, and certainly be fun for him to see Matt Kenseth holding that trophy tonight. And let's go back and look at that restart and the whole lap of it, or much of it anyway, and look at the tactics these drivers used.
You can see right from the very beginning, Kyle Larson was ready for everything that Matt Kenseth had there. Game started as they got down in there into the first corner.
Yeah, Matt pulls right down on the door of Larson and gets the advantage as they exit the turn. But then look at the run that Larson gets. He doesn't give up. He keeps that right front corner just right on that left rear.
So trying to get a little separation there. Matt's a veteran. He knows what to do. Larson, I'm not sure that he backed out of the throttle there.
And then behind him, bing, 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 and bang, bang, crunch. back to Vince.
With Scott Zipadelli, the crew chief for Kyle Larson, he got a great restart on that last attempt at it. What's your impression of the performance of the car and Kyle and what you've got here for this one last restart?
We've got a really strong cartwheel Chevrolet. Everybody at Turner Scott Motorsports has done an awesome job, and we really want to win this race to close the year off. Car's been strong all day. We've gave up a couple spots on pit road, but Kyle's done a good job getting them back for us. Right now, it's all about clean air. If we can get the clean air, I think we can beat them.
A lot of questions about the future of this team and the men on it. What would it mean to go out with a victory tonight?
Words wouldn't put that in. There's no words to describe that, really. We're optimistic about the future, and we're here to do a job. We want to win this race for everybody back at Turner Scott Motorsports, Chevrolet, Cartwheel, and all of our partners and supporters.
Thanks, Scott. It's going to be exciting. Alan?
Could hear the emotion there in Scott Zipadelli's voice. So Kyle Larson is now going to be the control car for this restart, and we're coming to the 1 to go signal.
What you gonna do? Man, I don't know. Well, if you start on the top, you'll have the 54 behind you. If you start on the bottom, then you'll have the 12 behind you.
At least explaining his options. So 1 to go. He's chosen the inside lane.
He's made them both work tonight from starting on the front row, even as the control car, and sometimes not even being in control. He's been able to use both lanes on these restarts to his advantage.
Only thing I would not want to do would be to give a teammate of Kyle Busch an opportunity to push him, and that's what's happened here. Even though the 42 has been really strong on the inside, I would have thought about that a little bit more, since he has been able to do it from either side. Tough decision when you're in that position.
David Starr free pass, so 29 cars on the lead lap, and we're going to go to overtime. So when the race is under caution at the end of its scheduled distance, we go to extra racing. They'll wave the green flag. If the leader takes the white flag before another caution waves, the next flag ends it, be it the checkered flag or another yellow flag.
We saw the lead change hands on a green-white checkered last week.
And this is certainly a position, the man that lost that one on the green-white checker last week, Kyle Busch, you can't count him out here. Even though that car hasn't been good, he is such a master of these restarts and getting everything for a lap or two.
So like they were last time, Kyle Larson to driver's left, Matt Kenseth to driver's right. 2 laps left at Homestead to see who wins it.
Kenseth go. Here comes 54.
Don't get out Blaney.
4 cars for the race lead off turn 2. Kenseth back to the #1 spot. And the longer those 3 stay side by side, the better it is for Matt.
Yeah, they just pretty much opened it up for Matt Kenseth right there, unless there's something happens here.
White flag. We're in the last lap of the season for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. One car up high, Ryan Reed scraping the wall. We stay under the green. It's going to be a race for second between Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Tables turned on a final restart, and the first checkered flag in a long time for Matt Kenseth tonight at Homestead.
Hell yeah, guys. Good job. Good job, buddy. Way to wheel it there. Yeah, crazy. 54's outside.
What a finish.
Wow.
To the Nationwide Series season tonight.
Well, you see a lot of won't do Matt Kenseth on that restart.
And he did everything that a driver can do right there to put himself in that position. Looked like he had another gear there in the middle of 1 and 2 when he shot out front.
And all the meaning for Kevin Kidd written on his face there, as he exits Joe Gibbs Racing for a new job and a new team. But he goes out a winner with Matt Kenseth driving one whale of a race. Championship celebration begins for Chase Elliott. The trophy presentation still to come. And while Chase celebrates the Drivers' Championship, Roger Penske will celebrate his second championship of this season as Brad Keselowski got the job done for him tonight. He'll be the team champion, the Owners' Championship in the Nationwide Series. Might have burned the rest of those tires off that 9 car in the celebration, but they're going to be setting up the stage, and there'll be a trophy presentation shortly for Chase Elliott and his team owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, 10 years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his sister opened the doors to JR Motorsports, and here you are as a winning owner. What does that mean to you, Junior, and your sister?
We're very proud. Chase and the whole team did a good job. I want to thank Napa for coming on board this year. I felt like that they had a real good shot at it, and we've had a lot of great help from a lot of people that's been a part of our business at JR Motorsports, and there's a lot of people that have helped it get to where it is today. Some of those people are still there and some aren't, but everybody that has ever worked there has to be pretty proud tonight because they had an influence on getting us to where we are today. And we got a lot of help and resources from Hendrick Motorsports, and that's a big deal to us. It's helped us really get a lot more competitive over the last several years, so we got to thank all those guys that build all those great engines and get all kinds of engineering support there too. So it's been a labor of love, and we've really enjoyed the ride, and we've been proud to be part of the Nationwide Series. I want to thank Nationwide for everything they've done for the series. It's been a real blessing to have them involved, and the series is better off for it.
Congratulations, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Go meet your driver. Good news is Chase Elliott will be back in the car next year. Dave?
Jamie, on the pit box with Greg Ives now, where he directed this team to a championship. I know you want to run better tonight, but talk about how special this is now that it's official.
Well, I just have to thank everybody on this Napa Auto Parts team. They did a great job. Putting the car was fast, and you can't doubt the talent that Chase had in the car. And I just want to thank everybody at Junior Motorsports, Hendrick Engines, Chassis. I believe Chevy clinched tonight with the manufacturers, so it's kind of bittersweet a little bit. Last race with Chase, and we definitely wanted to run a little bit better than this, and not so much run, but finish. And I think we had a car capable of running in the top 5, and we tried something a little bit different, and you can't change it, you can't go back on it. You just got to go and fight through the adversity, and Chase was doing that. He was able to get back up, fighting for the top 5, and very proud of that young man. He's got a lot of years in front of him, and like I said, I can't be more proud of what this team has been able to do, and leadership of the late Gordon Gibbs and Mike Baumgartner.
Greg, great year. Congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thanks.
Greg Ives, Alan, 16 top 5s and 3 wins. The consistency was there this year for the 9.
And of course for Greg, he will be Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief next season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and he goes out of the Nationwide Series a champion. They're setting up the stage for the championship presentation while Matt Kenseth, after a hard-fought and well-earned win, is driven into victory lane for tonight's race.
It's been a while for Matt Kenseth, over a year since he's won a race in the Nationwide Series, but we saw that he hadn't forgotten how to do the donuts, and he hasn't forgotten how to get to victory lane. Congratulations on the win. How tense was that final restart?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I won a race in anything, so just happy for Kevin. He's been trying to get a win over here for a long time. He's going to do something different next year, and I'm glad to send him off with a win here. That was pretty cool. You know, Kyle got around me in a second to last restart, and then when he chose the bottom there and I had Kyle behind me, I knew that we had a shot again. I just had to do a better job than I did the time before. So luckily we got that last chance to redeem ourselves. So I just want to thank GameStop, Rock Candy, Reesers, and Toyota, and also Nationwide Insurance, great series sponsor. Hate to see him go, but looking forward to next year.
You've won a lot of races in your career, Matt. Here in the Nationwide Series, how important is it for this Joe Gibbs team to finish the season on a winning note?
Well, it's always important to win. It's not like I tried harder today than I did the last 35 weeks. It's just it's been a good year for us. It's been pretty solid. We just had a lot of circumstances toward the end of the race where we haven't won. I thought we were going to have that again this week when I messed up and let Kyle get by me on that restart. Thankfully, like I said, we had a chance to redeem ourselves and got rolling pretty good on that last one.
Yeah, well done. Matt Kenseth, the winner at Homestead Miami Speedway. Nicole?
Chase Elliott, the winner of the championship, though didn't have the day that he probably would have liked to have to go out and to collect that trophy, finished 17th. It does not, though, take away from all that he has accomplished this year.
Yeah, it's a tough day for him, but absolutely an unbelievable, exceptional young talent. Had a great season. Looking forward to watching him race throughout the future, but a tough day for him.
Yeah, Chase had a lot of momentum going through that entire year. With locking that championship up last year, it's really hard to keep that momentum going after you know the title's over and it's all said and done. But great run out of Chase Elliott. And what about Matt Kenseth? Redeems himself right at the end. Looks good out there.
Let's go down to Alan.
Well, Chase has driven into the championship celebration area. And some of these pictures will certainly reflect the tough night that he had, because that scarred up right side of that car is facing the photographers. And there in the middle of it all, as always for us, is Dr. Jerry Punch.
Sitting in the car here, waiting to climb out. What a year for this young man, following in the footsteps of his famous father as a NASCAR champion. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming down to grab and punch me in the stomach and grab the Napa flag. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, your 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion, Chase Elliott. Wow, young man, what a phenomenal year. You've had a week to think about this. What does this moment, this accomplishment mean to you?
Oh man, it means the world to me. Not just myself, but this is a huge accomplishment for our whole team. Napa Auto Parts, for them coming on board and doing what they did at the end of last year to make this possible. Nationwide Insurance for putting on the series. What a great series for the past handful of years. Just, you know, this week, I think more than anything, just kind of allowed me to sit back and think of, you know, not only all the great people that made it possible this year, but there's a lot of names and smart people and great racers that have helped me get to this point and that have allowed me to stand here tonight. So just huge thanks to all of them, and they know who they are. And, you know, just a huge thanks to everybody that's made this possible. This is a dream come true. I'd have never thought at the beginning of the season, but it's good to get the job done tonight. I know it was ugly. We didn't have a very good run, but we'll take it. And looking forward to enjoying this the best we can.
Of all you've accomplished this year, when you look back on this season, what moment will you cherish the most?
Man, I think those 3 wins. I mean, those were 3 big weeks for us, and you know that I felt like was just such a big confidence booster from that Texas win to go to Darlington and do it again was unbelievable. So I think having those wins were big confidence boosters for both myself and our team. It just gave us that confidence that we could go do it if we just stepped up and did our job right. So just really proud of everybody. Greg Ives, he's been just phenomenal to work with all season, and I hate to see him go, but he deserves it, and I hope the best for him. We're looking forward to the next year.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
The first rookie, the first teenager, and the youngest driver ever to win a major NASCAR touring championship in the history of the sport, Chase Elliott.
Tom, thanks. And Chase will be up on stage in just a couple of moments for the official presentation of the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship Trophy. You see the hardware and the team being assembled there. And that trophy will be handed to the champ in just a couple of minutes. DJ Andy, we've talked about this young man now for 12 months, really, but from Daytona on, he established himself as a force in this series, and from that first win at Texas, a star was born.
Yeah, it really was. He's just been phenomenal, mature beyond his years, and just been really fun to watch, just how he goes about racing. And just, you would think that he'd been here a long time, but as I think about everything that he accomplished, you know, he set the tone whenever he outraced some of the best in the business at Texas, then one of the toughest places at Darlington. But, you know, it's just what this Nationwide Series, well, go back to 1982 when the Busch Series was started and then Nationwide taking over. You know, what it was made for young drivers to get in and have an opportunity to showcase their talents, and not a better example than this young man being the champion this year.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed so much the last 8 seasons up here in the booth for the Nationwide Series, and to see Chase Elliott become the champion, it makes me feel really good about the future of the sport and where he might go with his career. I think he's done a lot for the series, and I think he'll continue to do that. Just a fine young man.
And it's not just Chase. All of these young drivers, we talked about Chris Buescher in tonight's broadcast, and all the young men and women who came out there and got a chance to test themselves against the sport's best. What a variety of winners this year, and first-time winners that we saw. And overall, this season has been one that, yes, a couple of guys dominated, as they always will in this form, but the young people established themselves and showed that there's talent on the horizon.
Yeah, and we're going to have battles as we watch this series for the next couple of years of young drivers getting opportunities. And what it's going to do is they've got more experience, and the equipment's going to get better for them, and the competition is going to be even closer. And they're going to close that gap on some of these Cup teams and drivers that we've seen dominate quite a bit. So looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, I think we've already seen that gap close. These young guys are not afraid to take it to these veterans, and we've seen it every week. It's been so much fun to watch, and Chase Elliott really kind of just epitomized that with his season that he had, winning 3 races, beating some of the very, very best.
And again, you come back to the one thing that perhaps amazes me the most. He did all of this before he's even turned 19 years old. He graduated from high school in May. At the same time, he started winning, actually a month after he started winning these races on a very tough circuit at the very top levels of the sport of stock car racing. A most impressive young man, about to be crowned officially the champion as they're ready for the trophy presentation. Back again to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much. We're ready for the formal presentation here on the stage with our newest and youngest ever NASCAR champion. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Senior Vice President of Marketing for Series Sponsor Nationwide. For her congratulations, Jennifer Hanley. Jennifer?
On behalf of Nationwide's associates and agents and the millions of members who have joined the nation, we'd like to present you, Chase Elliott and Junior Motorsports, with the 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship Trophy. Thank you for making it memorable. Congratulations.
No, thank you. This is unbelievable. Still in disbelief, man. So cool.
Let's introduce to you now to make the formal presentation and to give his congratulations. Here's the president of NASCAR, Mike Helton.
Chase, there's been a lot of NASCAR fans that have enjoyed watching your career develop, and with this crew behind you and Junior Motorsports and you at the wheel of this number 9 Napa Chevrolet, you've sent a loud message to everybody that the Elliott legacy will live on. So we're proud to have you as our 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion.
Thank you very much.
Hold that championship trophy up there, young man. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. History is made at Homestead Miami Speedway with a second-generation driver. Chase, when we talk about this sport being all about family, you talk about the Pettys and the Pearsons and the Jarretts and the Earnhardts, and now you become just the 5th son to follow in the footsteps of a famous father as a champion. How gratifying is that for you and your family?
Man, it's unbelievable. You know, for us to have, been at the end of last year and not really had any plans for this season, and to come in and have Napa come on board the way they did and commit and really just to make this season happen. I'd have told you were crazy if you had said we were going to even have a chance to win the championship this year. And, great guys brought fast race cars every week. All the guys that work on this car, every day of the week, they travel on the road. and they go home and work, they spend a lot of time away from their families. Those are the ones that really deserve the credit. So, like I told you down there, it's, I think this week more than anything and tonight just makes me reflect back on all the people that have made this possible. And those guys all along the way, from short track racing to today, I think everybody has made me look a heck of a lot better than I am. And it's just an honor to be here. And, I think all those guys deserve the credit.
Talking about someone who made this possible. Come here. Ladies and gentlemen, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Bill Elliott giving his son a hug. And, Dad, your boy did it. At 18, he's a NASCAR champion. Your thoughts?
It's just hard to believe. I mean, a year ago we had nothing going on, and a lot of things had to come together, and I keep saying that, but I keep being so thankful of where we're at and what we've done. And, thanks to Dale Jr. and Kelly and all the people behind JRM and Napa and Rocky Ridge and all the people that came on board with this deal, because, when they came to us at the first of the year, we were an unknown, and to win races and win a championship all in the first year, it's been I'm speechless, guys.
Unbelievable. Let me bring Junior back up here a second. Junior, no one better than you could understand how difficult it is to follow in the footsteps of a famous father. What has impressed you the most about what this young man has done and how he's handled all the expectations?
He's just he's very young, but he handles himself like a professional, handles himself like a veteran. I knew that we could win the championship if he was able to minimize his mistakes, and I don't think he made any all year. So it was just really impressive to see that. Normally those rookies, they come in and they have a lot of things that they sort of go through, some learning pains and so forth, but he just raced like a veteran from the first lap he ran, and he had a great team behind him. These guys did an awesome job supporting him all year long.
And by the way, you get his championship crew chief to fill in for the guy you're losing next year. Maybe you get to be on this stage in the Sprint Cup Series.
Yeah, Greg Guy's got a heck of a track record when it comes to winning championships. So we're looking forward to next year. But we're also looking forward to next year with Chase. He's going to be paired with Ernie, and Ernie's got a lot of speed and a lot of talent. I think they're going to do this again. I'm excited about next year, too.
Hey, congratulations. Let's move back over here to NASCAR President Mike Helton to present the Championship Owners Trophy. Mike?
Hey, Roger, let me borrow you for just a second. The uniqueness of the Nationwide Series gives us the ability in some cases to have multiple winners and champions. And for the second year in a row, NASCAR is proud to present you with the NASCAR Nationwide Series Car Owner Champion for 2014. Congratulations.
Mike, thank you very much. It's a real honor. Obviously, with Nationwide going away, I want to thank them for all the support, and certainly ESPN also. But what about those 5 drivers and 6 wins to get us here? And to beat Joe Gibbs and Kyle Busch is something. But I want to thank all the fans and certainly NASCAR for what they've done. So thank you very much.
Roger, you mentioned 5 different drivers, 6 wins, 25 top 5 finishes for your Team Penske 22 car. What does that say about your organization and these guys that run this nationwide program?
Well, I think, Jerry, it's consistency. There's no question about that. And when you think about Paul Wolf and Todd Gordon and now Jeremy Bullins, these guys have come up from the Nationwide. This is a great training ground for the driver. You saw Ryan Blaney tonight, how he ran. To me, it's consistency. Travis Geisler and Mike Nelson, Tim Cindric, all our guys have done so much. And what a great sponsor, Discount Tire, staying with us with 5 different drivers. So what a great night.
Roger Penske, the owner's champion here for 2014. And so the champions have their hardware. And the award celebration on Monday night here in South Florida to feat Chase Elliott as well as Matt Crafton, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champ. An 18-year-old in his rookie season of the NASCAR Nationwide Series with 3 wins on some of the toughest tracks on the circuit and a championship trophy to boot.
Yeah, I think what a point that Dale Jr. made there was he made very few mistakes this year, and that is so unusual for a young man to come into this difficult Nationwide Series and do that and be as consistent as he was.
Yeah, because it's hard to believe that he was that consistent and that good at such a young age, but 16 top 5 finishes.
Huge thanks to all the drivers, teams, officials, and track promoters of this series, as well as its sponsor Nationwide, for a great 8-year run of exclusive coverage of this series on the ESPN networks. And tomorrow, we crown a NASCAR Sprint Cup champ in what promises to be a most exciting and dramatic day. 1 Eastern on ESPN from here in South Florida. Matt Kenseth wins a very exciting race, and Chase Elliott is the 2014 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. He holds the trophy tonight here in South Florida.